actually not even buried here in Somerville Cemetery. I'm buried over in Westover. I'm over here this afternoon to visit with my good friend and former business partner, George Blanchard. George is buried right up here at the Blanchard family plot, and he is lying next door to my first cousin, Frank Calhoun, who's buried right here in the Calhoun family plot. Now, Frank and I are descendants of the former Secretary of War, former Vice President of the United States of America, and well-known successionist John C. Calhoun. Now, my wife is Celeste Morris. She is the daughter of William S. Morris, and they attend church right over here at Reed Memorial Presbyterian Church on the corner of Walton Way and Johns Road. I understand that William S. Morris's grandson, Billy Morris, still goes to that church and owns the local newspaper. Now, George, why don't you tell these good folks a little bit about our real estate firm?
Thank you, Bunny. I appreciate that. My name is George Blanchard. I was born in 1889 in Columbia County. I'm a member of the prominent Blanchard family who settled in Columbia County in the 1770s. After graduating from the University of Georgia, I moved to Augusta, and in 1919, Bunny and I created Blanchard and Calhoun real estate firm. It's a new type of real estate firm. It combines real estate, mortgage, and insurance all under the same roof. Our first development was a large development located way over on the west side of Somerville, and we decided to name it Forest Hills. Now, we did name it Forest Hills for the trees because there's actually no trees there. It's an old cotton plantation. And so we actually named it after a good friend of ours, Mr. Forrest. Now, to try to have it live up to the name of Forest Hills, we planted live oaks along the street line on both sides. And we're hoping someday it'll actually look like Forest Hills. Now, Forest Hills consists of large estate lots leading up to the Grand Hotel, the Forest Hills Ricker Hotel. Now, the Forest Hills Ricker Hotel was designed by a local architect, Willis Irvin. And Willis is actually buried right behind that cedar bush and overlooking us right now. Also, the development consists of a large championship golf course designed by the world-renowned golf architect, Donald Ross. Now, Bunny, tell them about that golf tournament we had earlier this year.
Thanks, George. As you folks know, we're in the year 1930, and Bobby Jones has just finished winning the Grand Slam of golf by winning the British Open, the British Amateur, the U.S. Open, and the U.S. Amateur all in 1 year, a feat which may never be duplicated. That year, this year of golf, started off with our golf tournament, the Southeastern Open. That golf tournament has rounds at the Forest Hills Golf Club and the Augusta Country Club just beyond that tree line. As you folks know, Bobby Jones won that tournament by 13 strokes. He recently told me that the finest golf that he ever played in his career was at the Forest Hills Golf Club in that tournament. Now, Bobby went on to tell me that based upon the margin of victory, 13 strokes, that gave him the confidence and the belief that he could go ahead and win the Grand Slam of golf and retire from competitive golf at the very top, which is exactly what he did. Now, another good friend of ours, Clifford Roberts, as we speak here today, he's building a course over at the former Fruitland Nursery on Berkman Road. He told me that based upon the success of the Southeastern Open, he is hopeful that maybe one day they will have a tournament there of some national significance. Only time will tell. Now, the reason why we have these local golf tournaments is to attract that Yankee money down here into our community. We want those Yankees to come down here. We want them to stay in our hotel. We want them to buy homes and build homes in our residential real estate development, and we want them to invest money in this community. Now, George, why don't you tell these good folks a little bit about our efforts in that area?
Thank you, Bunny. What we recently did is that we hired William E. Bush as president of the Forest Hills Hotel Corporation. And we did that because of his relationships with wealthy and prominent Yankees. And the first thing he did was create the Aiken Augusta Special. and that is a Pullman rail car. Not just a normal Pullman rail car, but very luxurious Pullman rail car that's going to bring the Yankees from New York City all the way down to Augusta, Georgia, and bring that Yankee money along with them. Now, Bonnie, tell them about that special game.
Well, as you folks probably know, we have just finished construction on a luxurious residential home in Forest Hills at the corner of Comfort and Magnolia for the Rockefeller family. And that home overlooks the front lawn of the luxurious Forest Hills Richter Hotel. It is our hope that we will be able to bring more northern money down here to build luxurious homes in our real estate developments. Now, Forest Hills is not our only real estate development. George, why don't you tell them about some of our other real estate developments?
Thank you, Bonnie. Well, it's early 1930s, and things are still going pretty well. We have people coming down, staying at the hotel, investing in the real estate, investing in the homes. By the mid-1930s, the impact of the Great Depression starts to have an impact. We're no longer having as many people stay at the hotel. We're not having the transactions in the real estate. By 1942, the world has completely changed. We have to sell the hotel, and we sell it to the federal government. They turn it into an Army hospital known as the Oliver General. After World War II, my son Thomas Blanchard returns back from the war. Like other soldiers, he gets married and starts having babies. It's a baby boom, but more important to us, it's a housing boom. We've already developed Kings Woods on the south side of Somerville, and we developed Vineland on the north side of Somerville to meet the demand of those small families. By the 1950s, we can do something really special. We develop a new type of real estate development that's going to provide the luxurious 1950 amenities. And we do that by purchasing the former lake course from the Augusta Country Club. We call that Country Club Hills. In 1958, I died. At that time, the firm of Blanchard Calhoun has passed on to my son, Thomas Blanchard. It's my understanding at his death, the firm was passed on to his son, Thomas. And over those years, they actually moved beyond this little hillside of Forest Hills and Somerville and did real estate developments throughout greater Augusta. It's my understanding they've been quite successful.
Well, thank you for those comments, George. Now, as you folks know, we started Blanchard and Calhoun in 1919. I sold my ownership interest to George in 1924, and I stayed on in an executive capacity as a vice president. Now, in 1940, due to health reasons, I relocated my family to Miami, Florida, where I built a successful hotel. And then I passed away in 1965. Now, I understand you folks have already met our good friend Alfred Batty, and you're getting ready to meet another friend of ours, Annie Burdell. We want to thank you for your attendance and hope you enjoy your walk with the spirits. Thank you.
Ask a question.
Yes.
Is it true you only paid the great sum of $25,000 for the lake course?
That's a great rumor. That's a great rumor.